everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this telescope or tunnel card using the O-Fish-ally Awesome Close to My Heart Stamp of the Month for April. So let's get started. What you're going to need is 2 pieces of cardstock cut at 5.5 by 8.5. One of them you will score at 4 1/4, and this is going to be your card front and your base. And then you go ahead and fold it at the score. And crease it with your bone folder. And then on the back of that piece, you're going to cut off a 1/2 inch. Okay, so the front is going to be longer than the back of your card. And then with the next piece, this is going to be the inside of your card. So you score that at a 1/2 inch, and then 4 1/4 inches, and then 4 3/4 inches. So this is going to make up the inside of your card. So go ahead and fold on all of those score lines. And now you're going to figure out where to cut your circles. Okay, so this piece is going to be on the inside. And the piece that does not have the fold on it is going to be what you see through your tunnel. Okay, so now what you need to do is cut your layers for your tunnel. Not cut, but score them. So you're going to score at 1/4 inch on each side. Then you're going to flip it around and score at 1/4 inch. And then you're going to do the same thing for the next layer. Score it at 1/4 inch. And then flip it around and score it again at 1/4 inch. Okay, now you have all your scoring done. So now you're ready to start figuring out where your circles go. Okay, so this piece is the back of your tunnel, and then the piece that has the fold on the end there, that is going to be the first layer of your tunnel. So you put your largest circle on that, and I'm going to bring my big shot in and we're going to cut it. So you can use any shape you want as long as you have 3 sizes, a big, medium, and small. So you can use circles or brackets or any shape of die cuts that you have. So save that circle that you have cut out of your card, because you can use it to decorate the front of your card. Then you take your next size circle. This would be the medium size. Go ahead and fold on your score lines, and you're going to line up those score lines with the 2 score lines on the lighter blue color cardstock, and you're just figuring out the placement of the next circle. So you lay your next circle die down, and then you're going to cut the piece of Bluebird card stock. You cut that circle. And then you take your piece of Bluebird cardstock on top of the piece of Sapphire and line up those score lines. And then you take your smallest circle die and place that down. And then you cut your Sapphire cardstock. So then you'll have 3 circles, small, medium, and big, to create your telescope or tunnel I've heard it called both. So okay. Now we're ready to start building the inside of our card. Okay, so this piece is the piece that you see through all the layers, and it will sit at the back of the inside of your card. So this is cut down to 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. Actually, it can be just the right size to fit to be seen, but I like the whole area to be, the whole panel to be covered. It doesn't necessarily have to be this large. And then you glue that down to the back of the card there. And I just use Tombow tape. Okay, now we're ready to start putting our telescope layers in. So I'm using 1/8 of an inch score tape on each of these scored flaps there. So we'll get that down, and then you work your layers into your card. So that's the smallest size, and it's going to be at the back, so I'm putting that down first. I'm not connecting it yet to anything, and then I'm going to layer the Bluebird piece on top of it. And then I'm going to put it in my card so that the score line meets up with the score line closest to the circle. And so then I'm just kind of laying everything and pressing it all down. So now I'm taking the back of the card. This is the very back of the card. So I'm putting score tape down on that, and then I'm going to lay my card inside down on this card base. And then you remove your adhesive coating and you take your fold from the back fold, and it should meet at that center of your card. And then I'm putting a couple strips of double-sided tape down. And I'm going to remove those. And then I'm going to close my card. Okay, so I'll have a still picture of what it looks like from the top. But this is what it looks like when you open your card. And from the top, you'll see how each of those scored lines are kind of in those 1/2 inch sides. It's kind of creates sort of a little box there. Okay, so now it's time to start decorating. Here's a little trick when you want all of the images from your stamp set. A stamp set like this that has a billion tiny images, the easiest way to do this is to put it into your MISTI or stamp tool, and you take the entire stamp set and tack it down to the window there with purple tape. And then I have a piece of 6x6 white daisy cardstock, and then I'm inking up the entire stamp set with a carrier sheet still attached to all those stamps, and then I'm just stamping the whole entire thing down onto my 6x6. And there was a little area that didn't quite get stamped dark enough, so I re-inked it, and now I'm stamping the whole thing. So much easier and so much faster than taking all those little stamps off and putting them on blocks and stamping them individually. So now I have all of my stamps, and I have colored them off screen and fussy cut them all. So I have a whole bunch of little fishes and the sign with the sentiment and little things to go inside a fishbowl or aquarium. So this is a piece of Kraft cardstock, and I've die cut a circle, and I'm just hand cutting an area to make sand. And these circles that I'm using, the Bluebird circle and the Carolina circle, are the circles that were cut out when I created my telescope. So save those circles when you die cut them out of your paper, out of your cardstock. So this is the same as the inside. It's these are my people papers, and I'm going to use that on the card front, and then I'm going to layer all my images on top. So normally I would start building from the card front, but because it's three-dimensional and not flat, I'm building from this base piece here. I'll just put all my images and sentiments on the front of the card, and then I'll attach that panel to the card itself. So I'm just layering everything here and kind of figuring out the placement of all of my pieces. And I'm going to keep all of this in the video. I'm going to speed it up in a minute, a little bit quicker. But sometimes when you look at the whole thing, it's like, oh, that looks easy. But then when it comes to putting each individual piece down, not so easy. So I just wanted to keep it in, and hopefully this will give you some ideas on how to build a card with multiple images. So I've got some seaweed down, and then a little sandcastle. And I decided to pop the Nemo fishy with some thin foam tape. And then I'm adding my sentiment. The sign, I've stamped on that little sign, "Best fishes to you." So that's the card front, and then I'll go ahead and attach that. And this card will fit into a regular A2 sized envelope. It's got a lot of dimension to it, but it folds flat. Okay, let's do the inside. So I've got my other little aquarium things to put inside the card. And I tried starting from the back and then working my way towards the front as far as the arrangement of everything. And it helps having that pair of tweezers to get everything put in. I'm getting some things down on the back, and then I'm going to start tucking some other things in on the different layers. It's a little fiddly, and get your finger in there and get each of these things put down. Get all those. I colored and cut a bunch, and I want to get them all in my card. So it's good to look at it. I'm holding it up and looking at it just to make sure that I like the placement, because when it's down on the mat, the perspective is a little different. So it's good to hold it up and look at it and make sure what it's gonna be like when you open the card. So just some of my fish I'm popping and some I'm gluing directly. I'm just kind of scattering everything around. And you can glue it directly down, or you can glue it to the layer above and tuck it underneath. have a little hermit crab, I think. That's what that little guy is. And some coral and seaweed. I love this stamp set. It's a lot of fun to play with. We're getting there. Just keep building and tucking everything in. A little angelfish. And it's good to use the wet glue because you can kind of slide it around and make sure that placement is where you really want it. But then sometimes I want to use the foam dots. I decided to put that starfish on the front of the card. And I just about fit everything in there. So I will make a list of supplies in the description below. And for the month of April, if you make any purchase in my online store, I will send you a kit to make this card. It will all be pre-cut, the circles and all the layers of card stock, and it will have the strips of 1/8 inch adhesive, and everything will be pre-scored, and you'll get a set of instructions, and then you can color the fishies in and fussy cut them yourself, and you'll be able to put one of these cards together. So I appreciate you spending some time watching my video today. This was a fun project. I hope you give it a try. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. And thanks for watching.